Joining me now is Democratic Senator Alex Padilla of California. Senator Padilla, can you explain? You were actually in the facility. I don't believe hardly anything that comes out of the Department of Homeland Security at this point. But tell us what you saw, what the facilities were like, what you saw when you were able to get in there.
Sure, Jen, good to be back with you. And for starters, and you hit the nail on the head, this is an administration that doesn't want you to believe what you see with your own eyes. I know what I saw with my own eyes and what I heard with my own ears in talking to many of the detainees. California City, it's the largest detention facility in California, currently housing more than 1,400 detainees, not prisoners, detainees, with a capacity up to 2,500. And so I share those numbers because the problems that we've seen, without being properly addressed, are only going to be exacerbated as the Trump administration aggressively pursues this goal of 100,000 or more. You know, when I visited facilities like this, other ICE facilities or detention centers, correctional facilities, even throughout my public service career, you always expect to hear maybe complaints about food or water. They keep it too cold or too hot in here. But I was shocked at the amount and intensity of the complaints about lack of medical care. Like even detainees, even in prisons, even under conditions of war, there's basic standards that we are supposed to hold and maintain, and that is not happening. And I'm talking about people who maybe came in with chronic conditions and they had their medical history if they were transferred from a different ICE facility that is not being followed up on. People who may be suffering an injury, many who shared that they were injured in the course of being detained. Right? We've seen how aggressive and physical these detentions and arrests are. And you know, a lot of times I'll come away from an audience and say, well, the women talked to me, and even the men complained about mental health. In this case, it was especially the men talking about the lack of mental health treatment. Being there is traumatic. A lot of them come in with trauma to have kids that you're supposed to be providing for on the outside, not sure what their future is absolutely traumatic. So a lot needs to change here, and it begins with actual independent oversight.
There's a lot that can happen. Just to bring it back to Washington here, the Democrats are in the minority, but there's still a lot that can be proposed. There's a lot of leverage you have. You and Senator Cory Booker have announced the Dignity for Detained Immigrants Act. I'd love to for you to tell me more about that. And it's all related, all of these issues we've been talking about throughout the show, what we're seeing with ICE in Minneapolis, what we're seeing at these ICE facilities. Also tell me a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of what's possible with using leverage for the funding bill. I know I just asked you two big questions but they're all tied together.
Look, well, I appreciate that. I mean, fundamentally, this bill is about ensuring that even in these detention facilities, we're maintaining the basic human rights conditions for a detainee, similar to what we do with prisoners or even soldiers in the context of war. Quality access to water, housing facility, access to basic care, those sorts of things. Why the timing? Not just because of my facility visit last week. Last year, calendar year 2025, was the deadliest year for detainees in ICE facilities. And we're on track, just the January numbers, to exceed that in 2026. And so just as we've called for actual independent investigations into the shooting of Renee Good a few weeks ago in Minneapolis and Alex Preda this last weekend, how about the dozens who have died in ICE custody, right? That needs to be done as part of oversight and accountability as well.
We only have about a minute left, but tell me, what do you think is going to happen? What leverage as it relates to the funding, the DHS funding? I know this is something that Democrats are calling for it to be pulled off of the larger bill. Could that happen? And what are the key things you really would like to see negotiated with Republicans?
I appreciate that. So to your point, despite whether it's a big bundle of spending bills or a Homeland Security spending bill separately, look, I can't in good conscience support additional funding for a lawless, out-of-control, militarized Trump ICE. I just can't. We don't want a government shutdown, but we don't want lawlessness on the streets either. So what we're calling for is pretty simple ideas. How about things like accountability for the money they already have? The BBB tripled the ICE budget. It's not a matter of resources. How about things like body cams for all ICE agents? That's good for the public and good for the officers too, by the way. How about no roving patrols, right? No detention without warrants. Very simple, common sense concept. True independent investigations, as I just mentioned, it's smart policy, good for everybody. That's what we need at a minimum.
Sounds incredibly rational and smart, and thank you for informing us about it. Senator Alex Padilla, thank you for being here.
Thank you.